Uh, as I was saying earlier, I invited the Democratic Party candidates for Precinct 3 to this meeting tonight because there's going to be a runoff in July. So we're going to give them each a few minutes so that they can give us their stump speech and tell us what they can do for Alief. Diana, you want to go first?
Absolutely. Hi, my name is Diana Martinez Alexander, and I'm a veteran educator running for Harris County Commissioner Court Precinct 3. And I decided to run because I have been helping families get connected to resources for years. I actually worked in Alief at Holub Middle School for a couple of years, and I understand how critical it is to have families that need access to resources, find out how to get connected. And that has even become more prevalent of an issue now with COVID-19 having the outbreak. So I am focused on making sure that we're looking at a climate crisis plan and looking at ways to mitigate flooding and have long-term and short-term solutions to that, making sure that we're looking for access to services and barriers for medical care, transportation, and education. I understand that there are plans for a senior center, that there are plans for a senior center in Alief. And that is something that's on my radar. So I want to look into that. And also having transparency and accountability to the people are in Precinct 3. This is a grassroots campaign. We were the top vote getter in the primary, and we're looking to make sure we seal the deal in July in the runoff. And so I'd appreciate your support. My name is Diana Alexander, running for Harris County Commissioner Court.
Good. Thank you very much, Diana.
Thanks for having me, Miss Barbara.
Sure. Michael, ready?
Can you hear me?
Michael, you still there?
How about me? Can you hear me now?
Yep, go ahead.
Hello, my name is Michael Moore. I'm running for Harris County Commissioner Precinct 3 in the July 14th runoff with Diana. Those of you can vote, ask for your vote. There are major issues surrounding Harris County and Precinct 3. Major flood issues, traffic congestion, massive growth. We need new transit solutions with that growth. We need to continue improving parks, trails, access to nice quality of life, safer neighborhoods. We have a healthcare system that the Harris County Hospital system, where 54% of those that go to the hospital, Harris County Health System, do not have health insurance. That's just not right. It costs the taxpayers dollars. We need to do something about it. On top of that, we got COVID. COVID's going to be here for a long time. It's going to affect the economic growth. It's going to affect the tax base for years to come. We need somebody who's got the experience. A little bit about myself. I used to be Bill White's chief of staff for the entire 6 years he was mayor. There is no city manager in the city of Houston. The mayor and his team run the city. I've worked with 18 different departments, department heads, staff. I see West Side out there. I used to work with HPD on a daily basis. I will be if elected county commissioner, I will be an active county commissioner for the entire precinct, not just certain areas. Alief has its particular issues. I'm not going to sit here and tell you what your issues are because you know what they are better than I do. But I tell you this, I won't be a stranger to the super neighborhood or other organizations, the management district, etc. I will be an active member, and I will have staff that you will know, that the community will know, that will be active members. If I'm not there, they're going to be there. Can't tell you I'm going to be at every single one of your meetings, but I will be there and look forward to hearing your issues and help trying to solve those together. I will work with other government entities. It's county. It's not county against city. It's not county against anybody else. About half the precinct is in the city and half is outside of it. I'll be a county commissioner for the entire precinct, and that includes Alief. I work with city, metro, you name it, I'll be working with them. I'd love to get your support, not only in the runoff, but if I'm lucky enough to make the November election. I know about how you're trying to turn the library into a senior center. Y'all have gotten, my understanding, is support of both the commissioner and the mayor. One thing, if there are current elected officials that agree to certain capital improvement type projects, I will not turn those back as county commissioner. And we'll have budget issues going forward, so we'd have to work within the budget. But if there's a project on the books, getting ready to be done, we'll honor that project that y'all have been working on for years. So I look forward to the dialogue with you and learning from you. Again, my name is Michael Moore, Harris County Commissioner. If your vote is on that 14th runoff, I'd love to have your vote. I'd love to answer any questions.
Thanks, Michael. Appreciate it. You all are welcome to stay on and listen to what's going on in Alief.
Well, got two little girls downstairs that are with my wife, so I'll be on for a little bit, then I'll have to jump off.
Okay, thank you. West Side.
Barbara,
Yeah, you
doing
got
okay?
to with my dogs.
I'm competing with your dog.
Yes, you hear them?
Hey, since we last met before COVID, Captain Commander Fallhaber moved to downtown. He's an investigative commander now, and we have a new commander, David Angelo. That's his pretty face right here, and he's going to say a few words. Hello, Barbara, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
I'm
Say
gonna
hello
put
to
it on
everybody.
mute because the dogs keep barking.
Well, can we hold on before you start, Commander? Can everyone mute yourselves? Can you make sure that you've checked that you've muted? Veronica, can you mute yourself on your computer, please?
I should be muted.
We still see and hear you. We still hear you. Okay, now you're muted. Thank you much. Okay, good. I'm going back on mute.
I think we're good to go. Okay. Well, hello, everyone. My name is David Angelo. As Tim said, I am a 26-year veteran of the Houston Police Department. I just came from the investigative side of the operations here at HPD, where I was over special victims for the past 3 years as the commander. So I had all investigations related to sex crimes, crimes against children, or internet crimes against task force. So I bring that experience from the investigative side over to the patrol side. In 26 years, I'm not new to the West Side area. I was actually a patrol officer out here from 96 to 2006 for about 10 years. So I've seen a lot of changes. This is my first assignment as a commander in patrol. I've seen a ton of changes here in the West Side area, particularly in the District G side. We have a lot of crime going on in District G. With District F, not the same issues going on, but kind of remarkably, crime has been kind of flat year over year. We certainly have our issues in District F, so my priority moving forward is certainly going to be to tackle violent crime. I think that has to be the absolute priority moving forward, so people are safe in the community. There's going to be quality of life issues. I know Lieutenant Trometer has in his PD dealt, like for example, with the Club Creek Bridge, working with the Southwest Management District, the other management districts to improve the quality of life for District F and District G residents. So that's my goal moving forward is violent crime. We have a robust team here at Westside, so I look forward to carrying the baton from Commander Fallhaber. He's assembled a fantastic team, so I'm fortunate enough to inherit what I did inherit here at Westside. So, Councilwoman, real quick, I did reach out to you on May 7th via email, so I just want to make sure you did receive my email. You were not listed in the HPD Global email system, so I sent it to your District F email address. So I just want to let you know I did not forget about you. I was showing you some love, so just please check that email. Check your spam folder because I did send you something.
The
Okay.
District F goes to all of us. So my sometimes people get my email wrong because they just type in Tiffany.Thomas and so it never bounced back. But I should be in the system. But don't worry, we'll share information. We'll get in touch. We'll make it happen.
I sent it to District F at HoustonTX.gov. So just FYI, I got it from the city.
I'm sure they have it. I'm sure they have it. I'm sure you did. You're good. You're good.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. Thank you, everyone.
And he referred to Lieutenant Trometer. He's right here. We woke him up for this meeting. Barbara, you ready to hear some stats?
We're ready.
Okay, good. You did have during COVID, things have slowed down a little bit, but I'm sure it has everything to do with COVID. You did have a murder, which some people may be wondering what happened in that murder over there on Beech Nut, the 12200 block of Beech Nut. That was possibly a gang murder. The complainant was a gang member in a stolen car. That case is still open. I did not read the case. I do not have access to that case because it is a murder investigation. The sexual assaults there in Super Neighborhood 25 are down 66%. We had one in the last 30 days, and that was a family member. The robberies have increased. It seems like they've increased all over the area down here, or out here in West Side, but they're up 16%. Violent crime, though, for Super Neighborhood 25 is down 4%. Nonviolent crime is down 18%, which is really good. We had a major drop in burglaries of habitations, a 31% drop in burglaries. That may have had something to do with everyone being at home during this COVID. Burglary of buildings are down 42% out in this area. Burglary of motor vehicles are down 28%, which is really good because burglary of motor vehicles, as we all know, is a crime of opportunity. People leaving their doors open or leaving high dollar items visible. 10 persons in Super Neighborhood 25 were arrested for assault, aggravated assault. 18 were arrested for assault. 78 total people in the last 30 days were arrested in Super Neighborhood 25, which is pretty good during this COVID thing. There's because there was a lot of uncertainties when all this first started. Everybody kind of afraid to do anything, but it looks like things are going to kind of get back to normal. Barbara, you still with us?
I'm still with you. I have to keep putting it on mute because my dog barks at everything, including squirrels and leaves and whatever.
That's okay. Do you or anyone else have any questions?
Tim, you said that burglaries are down,
Burglaries are down.
but assaults are up.
Assaults are down also.
Oh, wow.
Almost everything is down. Violent crimes are down 4%. Nonviolent crimes are down 18%.
Wow.
Yeah, the new commander is taking all the credit for that.
That's good. That's good.
So Super Neighborhood 25 is probably glad that Paul Haber's gone. Anything else, Barbara?
No, that's good. Thank you very much. I appreciate it, Tim.
Barbara, if I'm not here next month, it's because Paul Haber found out I'm talking bad about him.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, bye.
Duha, you ready? Duha, you there? I don't think she can hear me.
She's there. She's on mute. She needs to unmute herself.
Let me send her a text. Okay, let's see if that works.
Can anyone hear me now? Hi.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I have a little technical problem over here. So hello everyone. My name is Du Hong Nguyen. I am Miss Barbara. Give me a couple minutes to say hello to everyone. And I'm working for election division in Harris County. So earlier you've been hearing some candidate that going to be on the ballot for the primary runoff elections, and it's supposed to be today, but it's not. It's moved to July 14th. And so the early voting, normally for the runoff, it's only happened for 1 week. But for this July 14, because of this COVID-19 and everything, so governor expand the early voting period to 2 weeks. So now early voting will be going from June 29 through July 10. So that's 2 weeks straight. But we will close on Friday and Saturday. That means July the 3rd and the 4th will be closed out. So all this for this July election, and also for hopefully for November, we will have 57 early voting locations in Harris County. That means 5 more compared to the last elections. The reason we expand more location for early voting because of the social distance. Everyone have to be 6 feet away from others. And then we don't want people waiting long lines. So we open 5 more early voting location, and now we have 2 weeks of early voting location. So if you could like to, you can talk to your neighborhood, to your relative, to your friends. If they could like to vote primary elections, we could, if they could go to vote early, because if they can vote anyway. And also early on election day, since last year in Harris County, people can vote anywhere now. Okay. And soon our office, we're going to send out the ballot by mail application to all the voters 65 years or older. So if you have any friends or Miss Barbara or anyone's in the neighborhood or your friends, relative, or if you have anyone that, you know, they're 65 years or older in Harris County only, that soon, probably next week or so, they may receive a small application from us sent to everyone, all the voters 65 years or older. And then if they could like to vote, if they could like to vote by mail, they can just sign their names on that application and send it back to us, and their name will be on the list for ballot by mail. Okay, and then I will be here along the ways if you have any question. And I know we've been receiving a lot of questions from voter and also from co-worker on election day and early voting. At every single polling location, we're going to have the sanitizing station with so voter and people working there can sanitize themselves before they voting or after they voting. Okay, and all the poll workers, when they're working at the poll, we will provide them the glove, face mask, and also the face shield. Not the voter though. So if the voter you want to vote early in person on election day, we prefer everyone have to get the face covering or as glove. That's up to you, but we will require you to wear the face covering when you enter the polling locations. But all people working there, we will provide them the glove, face mask, and also the face shield. Okay. So if you have any question, I'm here. You can send me a text, or you can send it to send the question to Miss Barbara. Miss Barbara can forward it to me too. I'm here if you have any more questions. Thank you.
Duha, I've got a question.
Yes.
Are there any plans for voting by mail in the November election?
Yes, for November election, that's why we send out starting next week. We're going to send out all voters 65 years or older. We're going to send them one application to all the voters, even though they never applied before. They still receive one of those, so they can have a chance to apply to vote by mail. But at this moment, for the November, we still waiting for the decision from the court, and we're still waiting for from the governor to give us any guidance about if they're going to have the universal ballot by mail or what. But at this moment, still people have to be 65 years or older. They have to be either 65 years or older, have to be disabled or out of town. And then they qualify to vote by mail, but not everyone else. It's not a universal yet.
When do you expect to hear from either the courts or the governor?
I can't answer that because right now it's still hanging on the tree, so we cannot answer that yet.
Okay. All right, I'm sure you'll let us know.
Yes, I will keep everyone posted, and every time we have any updated, I sure that I will send out to everyone. Because this Friday will be the last day of Dr. Trotman working in our office, and starting next Monday we will have a new class. So let's see what's the guidance from there.
Okay. Thanks, Juha. Appreciate it.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Miss Barbara.
Thanks. Okay, Councilmember Thomas, you're up next. But can everybody mute their mic, please, before she starts to
Yes.
speak?
Yeah, and if you're on your phone, if you can mute yourself, it looks like we have 3 people on their phone. If they can mute, and there's a Ricky. And Ricky, if you can mute your laptop for the feed to minimize the feedback.
Right, before we go into the speakers real quick, because we've gone through all the elected officials, I did want to say that Michael and I worked together at the mayor's office many years ago, and I do want to give my endorsement to him. He is a really hard worker. I trust him, and I feel like he could do a really good job for that office. So I just wanted to put that endorsement out there.
Thanks, Adam. Okay, everybody on mute except Tiffany.
Ready?
Ready, go.
Okay. Hey, good people. Always good to be with y'all. Glad everyone's staying safe. I'm going to attempt to limit my comments and updates to 7 minutes for the purpose of our agenda. So one, I want to start with a financial report for how we've used our council district service funds and just the status, so you know where your public tax dollars are being used. So for the most part, we had $250,000 from our CDSF funds, which comes out of our general fund. Those funds are restricted. We spent $159,000 directed at projects directly in your neighborhood. Some of those projects include street stripping, overtime to police for environmental support around illegal dumping. We covered the cost for the Department of Neighborhood to cut blighted lots at 2,400. We have approved the extension of the bike trail in Shadow Lake subdivision, Crown Colony West at $33,000 investment. Speed cushions, a variety of projects. So I wanted to give you an update on that. Sidewalk projects, manipulating sidewalks to make sure that we can have ADA ramps. Several subdivisions have requested to make sure that the sidewalks entering into their subdivision and on the street were ADA accessible, excuse me. So that's that. So with Metro, we are allotted $500,000. We have spent $460,000. So, you know, in a very tight budget, that we had budget crisis that we're anticipating in fiscal 21, we wanted to make good use of the dollars. So we've initiated, all of those projects are in progress, and as they come up, we'll give you more of a timeline specifically to your neighborhood. So I'm happy to report that. So if there are there's some inconveniences around constructions, just know that this is in support and enhancement of your neighborhood. Secondly, I want to share with you some preliminary information from the $15 million Renters Assistance Fund. You know, we approved that unanimously at council a couple of weeks ago. Less than 90 minutes, $15 million was confirmed and applied for. So that tells us a few things. One, $15 million is not enough. Two, that there's a deep need within our city in response to COVID and those in our neighborhood. So specifically to District F, what does this mean? Out of the top 10 zip codes, District F dominated. The top 4 zip codes were in District F. So this tells us a few things around the people that live in District F, their housing security, and the interruption to their income. So those zip codes, the top zip code was 77036. That is a zip code inside of the Beltway, Bel Air, corporate, that area. 732 applications amounting to a little over $250,000. The second zip code was 77042. We share that zip code with District G on the north side, but the multifamily developments, those apartments, they're in F. 491 applications, $232,000 secured by landlords. 77063, which is in Super Neighborhood 20 Midwest, 410, $190,000, and then 77082, which would technically be in Super Neighborhood 17, but it's still Alief area. That was one of the top 10 zip codes of 474 applications, totaling over $208,000. The renters fund went to multifamily. If you were renting a single family home, you were eligible, a duplex, a fourplex, and all of the different variety of housing solutions. So that's the preliminary information that, I think the Texas Workforce Commission shared an update, some data report that 5,000 jobs were lost directly in Alief, particularly around food service. And hospitality. So as we look at the budget, we have to also look at our economic revitalization and our focus to get everyone back working and back on their feet. So I'll continue to share that information because in a few more days, the rent is due in June. And as Westside reported around the burglaries being up, there's a reason why burglaries are up. Because people are out of work, and we can always make that connection. Secondly, I do want to make an administrative announcement. Last week, Torrance Atkinson resigned from our team, and he's pursuing his heart's desire to pursue his film career. One of the things that I share with the team is that you always have to bet on yourself. He decided to bet on himself, and one of his film projects actually went viral, and he received a lot of feedback and support around that. So we had a virtual happy hour. We wish him all of the success, and he's still a part of the District F family. And so for those of you that have been in relationship with Torrance and with the previous administration, I will share his personal contact information so y'all can stay in touch. But we're really proud of him. He's totally in his element. But with that said, we have a new hire. He is on the Webinex with us today. His name is Nashawn Edwards. Wave, Nashawn. Wave. So Nashawn will be joining us officially tomorrow. We threw him in the fire today. He joined our housing committee meeting so he can hear exactly what's happening, and he's been doing some independent study. He's done his homework, and so we think he'll be a great addition to the team and an asset as we continue constituent services. In addition to that, let me just give you an update on what's happening as we recover or reopen rather from COVID-19. The capacity is at 25% bars, 50% restaurants. And so, yes, we want people to go back to work. We want people to be able to pay their rent and take care of their household. But we also want people to be really safe. So over the weekend, there were 1,200 calls made against businesses. There were 0 citations, but I want you to know that if you go into a business and you don't feel safe, you're well within your right to make a call. From the position of the city, we are going to go there, fire department, and just encourage and inform them on procedures. When a business opens, we have requested that they present a plan on how they're going to keep their customers and their employees safe. And I will tell you, I went to Raging Cajun before they closed down last week. Well, the one in West Chase closed down, but I went to the one on Richmond, and I mean, it was perfect service. Everyone was appropriate. They did what they needed to do, but we do have bad actors. So as we roll out our mobile testing and our 23 sites in the city, we're just going to ask everyone to continue to be diligent and just being common sense, and we've done that. And I'm working on a mobile testing unit to come out to District F. We do have a site in partnership with Walgreens in Harris County on Highway 6 in Westheimer, the old Walgreens. Drove by yesterday, it was a full line. I will let you know that at the city locations where I was tested, we are not testing at full capacity. So that you do not have to present with symptoms. If you want to be tested, you have an opportunity to be tested at no cost to you. It took me less than 15 minutes, and I received my results in 5 days. So encourage people to at Butler or Del Mar Stadium until we receive our mobile testing. So please take advantage of that testing at no cost to you. In addition to that, solid waste. So with some of the CARES dollars that we receive, we are going to known homeless encampments, and we're cleaning them up because we want to make sure that the spread is minimized. And so if you are aware of any centralized homeless gatherings in District F, particularly in Super Neighborhood 25, please let my office know. We want to share this information with Solid Waste so we can make sure that those resources are out in our area. And so that because this is something that we need, and we want to make sure whatever resources, hand washing, sanitation, all of the systems that they plan on bringing out, that they can do that. And I think lastly, fiscal 21, we had a meeting with the controller talking about trends for 21. Not will 21 be tight for the city, but fiscal 22 will be increasingly tight, which means our council budget will be limited. The budget that has been proposed that we'll be voting on in the next couple of weeks has deep cuts to the council budget. So some of the things that we anticipated, how we anticipated serving the district will be limited for the next couple of years. However, I'm still proposing a hot teams in response to the illegal dumping because solid waste does not have the personnel or capacity to do so. So I plan on spending our unrestricted funds to have a hot team because during times of economic crisis, one thing that we cannot afford our neighborhoods to deteriorate. And we have to make sure that the quality of life is maintained in our communities as people get their footing. So that's how I plan on investing our dollars to make sure that our neighborhoods, because I'm tired of reporting the same counts on Dairy, Ashford, and Leader, like that still is it, like it's these people just throw trash there all the time, and I don't know what that's about. So again, our office is fully operational. We are working from home. We spend a day in City Hall in the office by ourselves to take care of administrative things. So please reach out, please email. I answer my own emails. So if there's something that we can assist you with, please allow us the opportunity to do so. And if we can't, we definitely will direct you to the right department or agency. That concludes my update.
Good. Anyone have any questions for the council member? Okay, you're off the hook.
Y'all are a great crowd. Well, let me tell you this. I was quarantining because I was exposed potentially to COVID from Councilmember Plummer. So the vote did pass. I know we had some dialogue, on our email regarding the trash bin fee. So I was at home while that vote was passed. But let me clarify that. I can't guarantee you that your service is going to change. That's not, the dollar is not about your service. It's about the bin fee. So the city of Houston has 90 trash routes. To be at baseline, we need roughly 109. So that's if everybody shows up to work, there's no vacancies, the trucks work, and it's a good day, we're still behind schedule. So I don't want anyone to be confused, and I don't want to romanticize this $1.14. This is specifically for the trash bin fee, for the actual container. So for those that it impacts, I have private trash service in my neighborhood that will not impact me. I pay $17 a month for trash service. So for those of you who are where this applies, you will see this on your water bill July 1. And let me add this, we're going into budget. And so if any of y'all, separate of Doug, because I get Doug's information, if you would like, just like Doug, to send any suggestions for budget amendments, we're in the process of doing that. We'll love your feedback around that. I'll be offering budget amendments that's specifically around housing, because that's the committee I chair. But if there's something that you would like us to explore in the next couple of weeks to submit for the administration to consider, please shoot me an email. That's it. Finally, done for real.
Thanks, Tiffany.
All right.
Okay. Let's see. Next is Abraham. Their mic's on mute, please. We're still getting feedback.
All right, hello everyone. Thank you for having me. My name is Abraham Zorrilla. I'm the lead planner for the Alief Westwood Complete Community Initiative. I'm happy here to provide an update. What I'm going to do is start with the things that didn't happen since we started the pandemic, or since the pandemic started. What we're doing and what's the next steps. Where we're going to. Can you guys hear me? Okay. Yes, Barbara.
Yes.
Good. Okay,
Yes.
great. So just to start, on March 11th, I scheduled the second complete community meeting for the Alief Westwood area, and it was going to take place at the Higher Dimension Church. The same day in the afternoon, Mayor Turner stated that all community meetings hosted by the city will no longer be happening. So unfortunately, that didn't take place. The purpose of the meeting basically was to go over the working action plans, review what we have heard from the community, what we got from existing plans in the area, and also to help us prioritize those projects and maybe identify some potential partners. Then the another thing that it was scheduled for the month of March was a tour for the International Economic Development Council. This is an organization that helps cities to promote uh, uh, development, economic opportunities, and improving quality of life. The tour for the Westwood area was specifically for Bisonet, and for Alief was Bisonet, Bishnut, and Bel Air. This organization is located in Washington, D.C., and it was organized by the Mayor Office of Economic Development. Unfortunately, we don't have a date when this will be rescheduled due to the crisis. However, during the meantime, the planning department with the mayor office of complete communities and also with Susan Rogers, the director of the community design resource center. She's our consultant. We have been meeting with the different departments from the city of Houston, and the purpose of those meetings was to basically review every single action plan for all the 5 complete communities of the second round. We met with Park and Recreation Department, Public Works, Police, Mayor Office Economic Development, Department of Neighborhood, Health, Mayor Office of Education, ARA, Mayor Office of Cultural Affairs, Office of Business Opportunities, and the General Service Department. So what happened is in that meeting is we go through every single project listed in every single action plan for that specific topic, like health, education, and so forth. And we have concluded all those meetings. So now Susan, the consultant, is putting all the information together. And we, with that department, we identified what projects can be lead by the city, what projects can be lead by non-profit organization or any other entities that could be potential partners. Also, so what's next is basically having an NST meeting, the neighborhood support team. Once we have that information available from Susan, we would like to schedule a NST meeting, a neighborhood support team meeting with Alief Westwood community and stakeholders, probably the second or the third week of June. This week, I'm responsible to contact these stakeholders and schedule a meeting. Obviously, it will be a virtual meeting, and the purpose of the meeting is basically go through the working action plans. We noticed that the departments have some questions specifically regarding some projects. They want more detail, clarification. So the meeting will be also asking those questions to the stakeholders to make sure we have an answer for the departments and also determine if there's something that they can work on. And the purpose of that meeting as well is to see if we should have a public meeting. Obviously, it will be a virtual meeting for the month of July when we want to show the working action plans to the public. and also see how we can do that. What would be the best time? I mean, if it's the best time on July to have this type of meeting, to wait. We want to continue and move forward with this community initiative in Alief and Westwood. However, we identify what's the things that are happening right now, and we just want to have this meeting in a safely way possible. But at the same time, we want to reach everybody. We want to hear everybody. We want to be as inclusive as possible. So with the next NST meeting, hopefully we can make some decisions and find the best ways to reach out to the public and Alief and Westwood. Let's see. And with that, that's the update for the Alief Westwood Complete Community. I don't know if you guys have any questions for me at this moment.
Tell us again, Abraham, when you think you're going to have the next meeting in July, did you say?
Yeah, so the neighborhood support team, we would like to have a meeting with the stakeholders in June, probably second or third week of June. And then with that, maybe having that meeting, having that discussion of having the public meeting in July, probably also the second or third week of July, and where we would like to show the action plan to the public. And also, anybody can review the working action plan in the website. If you go to houstontx.gov/complete communities and click on Alief, you will have access to all the information. We have the notes, the maps from the first kickoff meeting, and also the working action plans that we were going to present in the second meeting. And we have the working action plan in English, Spanish, Vietnamese, and Mandarin.
So the meeting in June will be virtual, right?
Yes, that's correct. And that will be with the NST, the Neighborhood Support Team. So obviously, everybody's welcome to join us.
Okay. If you send me the information, I'll send it out through Alief
I
Live.
will send an email to the NST this week, and then we're gonna start conversation from that email.
Okay, great. Thanks, Abraham. Richard Vela, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you all hear me?
I can hear you. Go ahead.
Oh, great. Thank you. So this is Richard Vela. I'm the Assistant Director over Real Estate Design and Construction. And Barbara, thank you for inviting us. She wanted us to give you all an update on the Alief Neighborhood Center. I sent some pictures a few hours in the morning, but hopefully you had pictures in the past from the council member's office. As you all can see, there's a lot of progress being done. We are moving forward. The project moves forward. Site has pretty much been cleared. All the buildings have been demolished. And now we're in the process of moving forward with permitting, with construction bids, and construction. So far, we've seen a lot of progress. So we're very happy about that. We are in the last phases of permitting. And also, we advertised May 15th and May 22nd for the bid phase of the project. So although we have a contractor on board who is the general contractor, we still have to have him go ahead and get bids for us so we can evaluate and get the best value for the city. We anticipate receiving the bids on June 22nd. And we're anticipating a notice to proceed for construction at the end of July. We are still geared for completion in 2022. So we're still going forward. We did have some delays, yes, we understand, with the COVID-19. and with permitting and making sure the drawings are done accurately. This is a huge project. It's a $60 million project, and we have a building that has a lot of intricate details. So our project manager, our senior project manager, Dimitri Karavas, who is on the phone call too, has been doing a diligent teamwork with both the contractor and the architect to make sure that we have everything covered. We also sent one of our updates. We sent, you've seen this in the past, but we sent a rendering of what the building is going to look like. So that is our update for Alief Neighborhood Center. Is there any questions we can answer?
Richard, how far behind are we going to be now because of this COVID?
You know, I'm going to defer to Dimitri to give us the exact timing if he has. Dimitri, if you're online, can you jump in, please?
Yeah, so I'm online. Right now, we're tracking about a month behind our previously communicated schedule. We're moving full speed ahead. There was a little delay with everyone adjusting, offices moving to people's homes as far as our consultants, and getting everything to permitting when we originally targeted. We are in the second round of permitting. So that is good news. Like Richard mentioned, we're out for bids right now. You may have seen the ads in the Houston Chronicle. We ran 2 consecutive Fridays just to try to get the best participation we can. So there's, you know, we understand there's a lot of negative things right now with what we're going through with COVID. We're hoping that with all of the negative things going on, one positive might be that we get really good bid participation and cost for the pricing for the project. So that's something we're hoping for as one positive of the challenges we have working while dealing with COVID is that we may actually get better pricing in from some of the subcontractors.
And to chime in too, to let you know what's going on with construction overall, our offices still remained open. We were still doing business. On our side, construction was an essential employment, and thank God for that because it kept everybody employed. On the other hand, we have a lot of construction jobs going on, and there are some delays here and there based because some of the subs who are working for us are testing positive. As soon as we have them tested positive, we are removing that whole construction crew or that trade crew from that site. And either the contractor is refilling it or we're losing a few days here and there. But it's really evident that there is some delays on that part during construction. On the other side, like Dimitri said, the positive thing that there's a lot of contractors who are hungry for work, and therefore, so far our estimates are below budget, and we're hoping that with this competitive market, we will be within budget.
Dimitri.
Any other questions? Yes,
Yes. Are we looking at 2022 now?
Yeah, we are.
Oh my God. I'm telling you, I'm not going to live that long. You guys got to hurry up.
I have faith that you're going to outlive me, Barbara.
Well,
Barbara's going to
As
outlive
long as you wear that mask, we're in good shape. Under these conditions, we're very lucky where we are. I mean, the Houston Permitting Center has been an advocate for us. We have Marissa Aho, who's our resiliency officer, and she's been with us for 15 months. and she's pushing the plan for Resiliency Houston. And as such, we adhered to the new floodplain and detention regulations. So even more, this project will be well received, not only by us as the city, but also by the private sector.
Oh, it's a wonderful project, but I just wanted to go faster. So
Oh, we hear you. We're on board. We're the same way. You know, we're the same way. But at the end of the day, we want to have a good project out there. They say it's 80% planning and 20% execution.
okay, oh, everybody, please put their mics on mute.
Barbara, this is Doug. Can I ask some questions?
Sure.
Okay, I have 3 questions. First of all, what month of 2022 are you expected to have the grand opening?
So let's talk about substantial completion. Go ahead.
So right now we have the end of April as substantial completion targeted.
Finish the commission till 2022 April.
For grand opening, we have to
No,
do
that's
a little
okay. That's
more.
substantial completion is what I was talking about. Okay, and driving by there, it looks like the swimming pool is still there. Are you planning to use the existing swimming pool, or what is the situation with that?
No. So what we ended up doing with the swimming pool is we ended up pulling that out of the demo contractor's scope and putting it into our contractor's scope. And the reason for that is a part of our new foundation is going to cut across where that pool is. So what we didn't want to have happen is a separate contractor do the select fill. So when you have a hole like that, you're probably aware of this, Doug, but others may not be. When you have a deep hole like that, you don't just dump the dirt in and pack it down from the top.
Right.
Every 8 inches, you do lifts and test the compaction as you go up. And we wanted to keep everything to do with the new building and the foundation under one contractor.
Okay,
so
that
we
makes sense.
removed that scope from the demo. We're adding that to the scope of Manhattan for that continuity of responsibility.
Okay, that makes sense. And the final question, you indicated that possibly, given the situation of contractors looking for work, the bids might come in less than expected, less than the budget is allowed. Can any excess be used toward possibly doing the indoor pool?
I know we have a list of items that so we'll have to evaluate that when the bid comes in.
Please do.
Depending on how much we're under, hopefully under. I know our last estimate was just before COVID really became an issue, and we were right at budget.
Yeah,
depending on
so
how
I will also add to it, Dimitri. Our last budget for the indoor pool was between $5 and $6 million. And to answer your question, even if we come under budget, it won't be anywhere close to that.
I understand. I understand that. It's just that if you come in with $1 million or $2 million less than budget, that is that much less that we have to raise to do the whole thing. So please keep that in mind.
Good. Okay. We will. Good point.
That's all.
All right. Anyone else? Well,
Barbara, are you there?
I'm here. Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, and I appreciate you letting us come and give an update.
April 2022.
Okay, whoever's in the closet there, I can see you. Please put your mic on mute. Can you see him in the closets?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Barbara, can I just add that if anyone signed up for a brick for the community center, we will be, we had an open call for those who wanted a memorable brick. I believe on Friday, we'll be giving those out. So you should have received an email from Long. We collected about 100. And we have most of those already reserved. So those will be ready. Please check your email.
I don't know that I got an email.
He just sent it today.
Oh, well, that might explain it. Okay. Mr. Chambers, are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. I'm HD Chambers. I'm the superintendent of schools for Alief ISD. And for those that were on last month's call, I was able to provide a brief update on kind of where we are with not only Alief, but just public ed, closing out the school year, going into the summer, and then starting what's going to be, for lack of a better word, a very interesting fall. So the couple of things I want to talk about real briefly that has a lot to do with taxpayers. So public education, the way it's funded, in large part is funded based on local property taxes. So whether you're a homeowner or a property owner or a combination of the two, and quite frankly, it doesn't matter whether you live in Alief or where you live. Your property taxes to your school district were due in December of 19, end of December. You had till the end of January to pay them. The reason I'm bringing this up is because in Alief, right at 98% of our property taxes were collected prior to March 12th, which is when things began going downhill in the state of Texas regarding the virus. Most districts had collected anywhere from 94 to 96% of their local property taxes. The reason that's right is because as we begin building our 2021 budget for the school year 2021, most districts are going to have the same amount of funding they were going to have prior to all of this. So when you combine both the state contribution to public ed at the district level and the local property taxpayer contribution to public ed, most districts across Texas are probably going to be okay for next school year. Here's where they're not going to be okay. Going into the 21 session, the legislative session in the spring of 21, because of the drop in sales tax collections, and more severely because of the reduction in the price of a barrel of oil in Texas, and because Texas relies so heavily on crude from West Texas to fund public ed across Texas, I am encouraging every district, every superintendent, to not spend money in 2021 that you're not going to be able to afford in 21, 22, because that is a real thing. Miss Natasha Butler, one of our trustees, is on the call and an active member of the neighborhood. I've been sharing this with the board, and so as just as a taxpayer, I would be engaged in what school districts are doing for 2021 in terms of expenditures, pay raises, etc., because of the possibility of what's going to happen in the spring of 21, in preparation for the 21-22 school year. So just a sidebar that Alief is in good shape. We're in good shape. My goal is to keep us in good shape and to prepare for the worst that might happen in the spring of 21 in preparation for 21-22. I know Councilwoman Thomas is in the city of Houston's in the middle of the same conversations. And so I just want everyone to be aware of what's happening, even though the 2021 school year won't see significant cuts. How we handle the 2021 school year will prepare us for 21-22, either in a good way or in a difficult way. So we closed our school year out. Last Thursday was actually the last day of school for Alief. Like, yay, yeah, exactly, yay. I will report that from March 12th through the first week of May, between March 12th when I closed school and the third week of May, we reported that we actually had contact with 96% of our students. In other words, we somehow had contact with them. Doesn't mean it was engaged contact. Didn't mean that all 96% were actively involved in what we were attempting to do for them related to school. But we at least knew where they were, that they were still in Alief. I think a big question a lot of districts are gonna have as we move into the 2021 school year is, where are the kids? Have they stayed put? Have they moved? I think that's gonna be a huge issue. But I just wanted to let you know that our district led the greater Houston area in terms of the percent of their student population that we made contact with. But I will tell you a number. I'll tell you, and I mentioned this last month, and I'm going to mention it again. The number that bothers me the most is that of those 96%, roughly 65% actually had connection to the internet, like a sustainable, reliable connection. I don't mean a hotspot. I don't mean some every once in a while it works. I'm talking about a sustainable access to the internet. And for us, the school system, to provide a quality education to all 100% of our kids, with the internet not being discriminatory towards anyone, we have got to address that. And when I say we, that's not an Alief problem. That's a Texas problem. And the city of Houston has taken an active role in that. I'll be happy to talk about that at a later date. But I'm on the governor's task force. It's called Operation Connectivity, and we are beginning to have serious long-term sustainable solution conversations with all of the providers that every one of us use for our own personal cell service. So just know that is an issue. It's not going away. We're going to have to. We've learned a lot over the last 2 years.
Take a picture of this guy, send it to Jared.
Learn what we can do and what we can't do, but internet connectivity is an issue, and whatever you want to call it, digital divide, whatever you want to call it, is an issue.
You take a picture, send it to Jared.
We are going to have graduation.
Where that is.
The governor announced that on.
Ask him if he knows who this is.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Can you, Barbara, who is this? Can they mute their phone? Hey, friends. Hey, friends, can y'all mute your phone during your whole conversation?
If your screen says user, your free.
Hey, y'all. Hey, you're taking the photo. Can you mute your phone?
You say that.
Dad is asking if you know who this is.
I'm just doing the meeting, the committee meeting.
Having a whole conversation too.
You would say that for bothers him, only 65% of the students have access to the internet.
I sent them.
I actually sent them a text to mute it and talk to it, and they haven't done it. So
Who is it? Do you know who it is?
it just says user is all.
I know, but does anybody recognize him?
I think it's Doug.
No, I think that's okay.
Hey, Barbara, would you, since you're hosting the meeting, if you go to participant at the top of your screen, I can go to mute all.
Anna, I can't do it. I tried that.
Okay.
And I didn't set it up right, apparently.
Okay.
But I don't accept them several times.
I can plow through this. I'm just people talking while I talk. Okay,
go ahead. Sorry.
So anyway, I just wanted. What I was saying was, we are taking advantage of the opportunity to have an in-person graduation outdoors. We're going to have it the week of June the 8th, and a lot of work, a lot of effort went into this. There continues to be a lot of work going into it to make sure it's a safe and secure for our kids and their families, and graduates and their families. But it will take place the week of June the 8th. We are holding them at Lee Stadium in Spring Branch. The reason for that is because our graduating classes are so large that in order for our graduating class and at least 2 guests from each graduate to attend, we couldn't do it at Crump and still meet the guidelines of the social distancing, which is what we're trying to do. So anyway, it'll be a first for everyone. We're going to give our seniors one last opportunity to get together to graduate and allow their guests, family members, friends, whoever they invite, to participate. So anyway, it'll be week of June the 8th.
Doesn't like free entertainment.
So let me talk real quick about the start of school. This is what everybody's interested in right now, okay? What are we going to
Yes,
do?
my head boss. What kind of question is that? Of course I do. He's the superintendent. How many did you say?
Ma'am,
That he's saying what?
65% access to the internet.
He's saying
ma'am,
65% of
ma'am,
the kids have
friend.
access
Hey,
to the
friend.
internet. That is at a virtual meeting with the
Hey,
town neighborhood thing.
hey, y'all. Hey, we hear all of y'all. Can you put your computer on mute so the superintendent can finish presenting? Can you go on mute? Hey, friend, at the bottom of your
Dad is
screen,
saying
there's
that you're
a
saying
microphone.
there's only 40%. But this guy's saying that there's 65%.
And
Yes,
they
ma'am. That's
said
right.
today
That's what he's
they're able
saying.
to track
But we
96%
can
of the
hear the rest
students.
of what he's saying if you
Okay,
go on
4%
mute.
live.
Hey, friend.
Let's-
Hey, hey, hey. Can you go on mute?
So the folks who are talking about the percentages of children without internet, we can hear your conversation.
All of it.
So if you just talked about the different numbers of percentages between what I shared and what you've heard, we're listening to your conversation. So can you put your phone on mute or your computer or whatever you're listening to it?
Hit the microphone button at the bottom.
Okay, I'm gonna keep going. All right.
Okay. We're going to send them a college intern next meeting so we can facilitate this, right? So we have that 65 older technology gap. We got to address that too.
I set it up wrong to begin with, so next time I'll know better.
We got you. Right. We'll take care of it, BQ.
That's all right. That's not a problem. Trust me, it's not a problem. Anyway, what I want to talk about just real briefly was what people can expect when we start school. So right now on June the 1st, we're going to start summer learning, and it's going to be all online, virtual, and there's a variety of reasons for that. But we're in the process of preparing for that. In the last 2 months, we have bought close to 15,000.
Probably lower for our
devices
area.
for our kids.
Overall, probably. People closer to Highway 6 and West Tower likely had more money.
Friend.
Whoever just mentioned Highway 6 and West Timer, could you look at the camera for a second? If you just talked about Highway 6 and West Timer, could you look into the camera?
You know, I think I know who that is. Hold on.
I have no idea. I'm just trying to, I have no idea. But they're cracking me up. I can see his forehead. I got some. Anyway, so we're purchasing a lot of devices so that every child has a device. Now the internet, that's a different story as I just mentioned, but the device we're attempting to resolve. But as we move into 2021, there's really three things I just want to mention real quickly. One, I am recommending to the board tomorrow, actually, in a special call board meeting, that they consider adjusting the calendar, our school calendar for next year. And what that means is I'm going to ask the board to allow me to start school earlier than what we originally had scheduled. So we originally had it scheduled to start on the August 17th. I am asking them to move that back to start date to Thursday, August the 6th. And there's a couple of reasons for that. One is the learning losses that our kids have experienced. We have to get them as soon as we can. We've got to get them back. And I'll talk about the social distancing in just a second. But just as a practical matter of starting school, I want to start school early, as early as possible, and that is a date that a committee, and Ms. Carla Kessler, I know she's in this meeting and is an active member of the neighborhood. Carla and her calendar task force have done unbelievable work for the last 2 months trying to figure out what is a way for us to build a calendar that addresses really three things. It addresses the losses that our kids have experienced the last 2.5 months. It addresses time for our teachers to be trained to assist our kids and then to react to what they just learned from our kids. And then 3, it builds in flexibility throughout the year in case we have to shut school down again in the case there's an insurgence of this virus. So I'm not predicting that, but we have to have flexibility in our calendar in case something like that happens, either district-wide, region-wide, or maybe campus-wide. So we're going to, if the board allows that to happen, we're going to start school about a week and a half earlier. We're going to have a break in the fall, like a spring break, but it's going to be a fall break. There's going to be multiple breaks throughout the fall. And those breaks are going to be used for a variety of reasons. It's going to be used for remediation of kids. Hey, they just muted.
Hey,
I just noticed. Thank you.
I got to hurry now. I got to talk fast now. But anyway, I want the community to know that these kids have been out of school for a long time and knows that the West Side Command Station and law enforcement are probably dealing with issues that like you would during the summer for the last 2.5 months. And the school system has a responsibility for attempting to get them back into an educational setting for a lot of reasons, none the least of which are to put them in a situation that we can help them recover from the losses. And so, you're going to see a different calendar if the board approves it tomorrow, and you're going to see it. It's going to be, if I could sum it up, it's going to start earlier. It's going to have more breaks. And it's going to end longer. We're going to go into the first week of June with the goal of attempting to close the achievement gaps that have been created. I will tell you what I've told everyone else. Even though we've only been out 2.5 months, if you're not in education, you probably find this hard to believe. But I know we've only been out 2.5 months, but the losses are going to take more than 2.5 months to recover. The academic losses, the social losses, the emotional losses, the routine, just the idea of getting into rhythm of just like we get into rhythms of work, the rhythm of going to school. It's going to take time. It's going to take a different amount of time for each student, depending on their situation. And we're going to do the best we can to provide that type of instruction with a modified calendar. So that's that. The UIL, University Interscholastic League, which governs all Texas sports, high school sports, and fine arts, announced on Thursday that they're going to allow in-person training, conditioning to begin on June the 8th. So a couple of weeks from now. I literally got off a call with my athletic director and our coordinators before I got on this meeting. We are putting together some tentative plans to begin allowing these things to happen. I can't guarantee it'll be June the 8th, but it'll be at some point in that week of June the 8th. But just know around the area, you may begin seeing athletic fields, football fields. You may start seeing kids assembled for band type activities no sooner than June the 8th. If you see it before June the 8th, then they're out of compliance. But you may start seeing it around the area, not just in Alief, but just around local school districts. So we're preparing for that. And so the biggest questions that come up right now, which are on everyone's minds, are, okay, what are you going to do if we can only have 11 individuals in one classroom? That's a problem. That's a problem. It's a math problem. And so with our big high schools and our large middle school, I mean, all of our schools are large. We can't accommodate all 100% of our kids who come back in one day. So we are looking at a variety of contingencies on how we're going to accomplish a blended way of teaching school. So please don't hold me to this, but I'll just tell you the scenarios we're considering. So the first scenario we're considering is that every child can come back. However, we're going to have multiple parents who do not want their children coming back. We're going to have multiple staff members who are not comfortable coming back. Could be teachers, could be principals. I mean, it could be a variety. So the contingency there is to offer as much in-person learning as we possibly can, and then create what we've done for the last 2.5 months, a digital, whatever you want to call it, virtual, whatever you want to call it, a virtual platform using, and I'm using this as an example, but taking teachers who either fit a vulnerable profile to the virus, who are of a certain age, who have pulmonary concerns or health concerns, coaching them up so that they can be some of our virtual teachers, more prepared, better prepared, so that they're actually being productive and helping provide education for the children who are not coming to school, either because their parents don't want them to, or two, because we can't allow them because we're having to rotate the kids who are coming in and out of our schools. So scenario one is, yes, we open up. We got a bunch of kids who don't come because families don't want them to. We have staff that don't come, and we're trying to blend the right staff member to be teaching those kids who are not at school. So that's scenario one. And quite frankly, that's our most desirable scenario. They get worse after that. The second scenario is the 11 individuals in one classroom is still in place. We will take that scenario and we will create either one of two schedules. One could be a every other day. So if I'm a family and I got 3 kids, my 3 kids may be going to school on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And if my next door neighbor has 3 kids,
Happy birthday, do something fun.
Maybe going to school on Tuesday, Thursday, and then Monday. It's kind of like college. And we would build out the hours, the minutes, so that they are equivalent for every kid at the end of a semester. So no child would have had less time in front of a teacher than any other child. And as a matter of fact, under that scenario, we would identify the students who are actually benefiting and thriving at home under the virtual situation. They may be at home a lot more than a child who needs the in-person teaching more than the other children. And as most of you know, particularly those of you who have raised kids, and I'll just give Miss Butler as an example. She's got a senior this year. There are some seniors who actually thrived more so under this virtual environment than they would have in front of an adult. Our job's to figure out who they are and what was it that made them thrive? Was it the teacher? Was it just not being in school, having to follow the stupid school rules? I mean, what was their rationale? You know, what was their, because it was something. So we're trying to figure that, and we're going to have to figure that out. So under that scenario, you may have kids in school off and on, depending on the situation, depending on the kid. All right. The third scenario is kind of think of it this way, a week, W-E-E-K, a week, a 1 week, week A and a week B. So we find, again, the students who need the in-person teaching more than the others, and they're in school. Let's put them in the week A category. They're going to be in school in front of a teacher for 5 days in a full week, while the other students who thrive and who are more adept at learning online are at home. Then we will flip. And for the students who are still thriving at home, they will stay at home until there is a need for them to be in person. And we'll have to work that out. But it would be almost a week on, a week off, a week on, a week off, with a variety of scenarios within each child. That is the most complicated of all of them, if we did something like that. The only reason we would consider that, well, let me back up. There's 2 reasons we consider that. One is a safety issue. If we have the same children coming for 1 week, the cleaning, our custodial responsibility of cleaning facilities, desks, equipment is it's not as heavy as if you're changing kids every other day or changing adults every other day. So these 3 right now on May the 26th is what we're looking at, and how can we build in contingencies below each one of those 3. Going back to what I said earlier, one of the ways we're going to find out what kids and what adults and what staff members or what that's going to look like with us is going to be, we're going to be rolling out a professional survey in the next 5 to 7 days. It's almost complete right now in terms of the crafting of the survey. And it's going to be designed for teachers or staff members, teachers in particular. It's going to be designed for parents. It's going to be designed for community members. We're really interested in, here's what I want to, if I build it, will they come? I need to know if whatever we build, are they going to come? So I need to know if 50% of my parents right now on May the 26th are worried about their child's health. I need to know if 50% of my teachers on May the 26th are worried about their child's health. Then we're going to follow the survey up at the end of June and early July with the same targeted audience, asking the same question. I've done these surveys before, and if you've ever done a survey, if it's done right and correctly, it can get me to within 2 or 3 percentage points of a margin of error. And if I can get to a point where I know that and I'm making this number up, but if I have 75 or 80% of my family say, yep, I'm comfortable, either I'm comfortable or I've got to send my kids to school because I got to go back to work. regardless of the motivation, if I know that 80% of my kids are coming back to school, that helps me with those contingencies I just mentioned. If I've got 70% or 80% of my teaching staff saying I'm coming back to work, and I got 20% who are not, then I've got to identify those 20% and figure out how can I use them for this virtual learning, knowing that I've got 75 or 80% coming back. So the contingencies are built as a blueprint, and until I get the data back, and I'll get this back the first or second week of June on the survey, then I can start filling in the blanks on the contingency. So that, I mean, there's a million unanswered questions, I know, and people, particularly parents and educators, want to know. But that's kind of where we are right now, and we're pretty far ahead. Most districts around here are kind of following our lead on this as we muddle through it. So, Barbara, I know that's probably more time than you allotted me, but that's kind of where we are as a school system, and I'm just trying to make it relevant to the super neighborhood as well as just community members in general.
It's a critical factor in opening up the economy, because people can't just leave their kids and go back to work. So thank you for that. Appreciate it. And I'm sure we'll do this again in June to see where we are on this. Okay. Thank you, HT. Appreciate it. Veronica, do you have anything for us?
I do not have any updates. I do have a 311 report that I'm going to send you by email.
Okay. Anybody else have any announcements they need to make?
And District F, has the lowest. There's one census tract. The lowest counted census tract in the city of Houston is shared between districts F and J. So that's Super Neighborhood 20. It's not Alief. It's Super Neighborhood 20. So it's in the Midwest. But we need every dollar. We need every resource. We need everything to come here. So if this message is not for you, tell your neighbor it's for them. But just remind people as you know to take the census. So as we do those mass distribution, we have a food drive coming up. We're sharing census information. We have it in a variety of languages, and we've been sharing it with the apartment owners, the landlords, that they can share with their residents while everyone's sheltering in place to do this. So please keep this on your personal networks and your personal conversations.
Tiffany, this is HD. Real quick, is there going to be a point in time where the census walkers are going to be allowed to start walking?
Yes, they're going to start rolling out soon. And so once they roll out, I believe, what is this, May? August, right? You'll start seeing them. So we're going to let people know to be on lookout for them. But they resume, and if they paused, I think until April, and then they extended that. So we're going to let people know that they're back on the street, and to be aware of fraud during this time, because that's been an issue, particularly with our elderly residents. So yes, they'll be live again, but particularly in this area, we need every dollar. So we are working with business community. You might see some of the signs out in the area if you pass by, but Chinese, Vietnamese, Arabic, Igbo, Yoruba, any dialect, we got it. And so if you have social media pages or networks that would like a different translation, we can send that to you from our planning department, so you can start cross promoting that, because it is imperative.
Tiffany.
Yes.
This is Joe. What did Long say the number was for what percent that we lose 250 million?
1%.
Thank you. That's all I needed.
I heard today on NPR that Texas, in general, less than half of the people have responded.
Correct. We're already slated to lose, to be undercounted 30%. Easy.
Oh, wow.
Easy. And so then you throw in a global pandemic, right? So then, they come down fussing at us at City Hall about, y'all need some money. We ain't got no money, right? And one of the reasons we ain't got no money is because we don't know you exist. And so it's a 10-year cycle. We need every person to be counted. It's our parks, our schools, our hospitals, our disaster funding. It's our community development block grant dollars. The allotment is based on our census. Investment in public safety, all that's is scaled on census. So I'm sure all of you have completed your census, but this, all of us, I'm sure all of you have, but this is for your neighbor who hasn't, or that young family receiving some of the food or the mass distribution, or those, that social services network. We really have to get to them to incorporate census with the work that they're doing in the community in response to COVID. We really got to get to them.